Hello Year 4 and welcome to Monday's English lesson. Should we have a look what we're going to be doing? I'm going to share my screen and click from the beginning. Let's have a look. We are going to be looking at poetry. So the first question is, what is a poem? What do you already know about poetry? Have you read a poem before? Have you ever written a poem? And lastly, what is a poem? Stop the video here and have a little think. Okay, welcome back. So, what was the answer? Have you ever read one? Have you ever written one? And what is a poem? So, if I have a look here, I found this definition. So I was seeing whether you could be a dictionary of what is a poem, and it says a poetry is a type of literature or artistic writing that attempts to stir a reader's imagination or emotions. The poet does this by carefully choosing and arranging language for its meaning, sound and rhythm. Some poems, such as nursery rhymes, are simple and humorous. Other poems may try to express some truth about life, to tell a story, or to honour a person or a god. Poetry appears in great many forms and styles. This makes it difficult to define exactly. Well, yes, it does make it difficult to define. So you might have said things like, well, a poem, it rhymes, but then it doesn't have to rhyme. Well, a poem has to be organised in groups of 4 lines. Oh, but actually it doesn't always have to be organised in groups of 4 lines. They're called stanzas. So perhaps we need to just say that we're going to be looking at poetry, which is a form of artistic writing. Now today we're going to look at some different poems, and I can't go through all the different sorts of poetry because there are so many, because they like to split them into different types and different names. But let's have a little look at some. So some types of poems. So the first one is a limerick. Now a limerick, it has 5 lines, has to have 5 lines. Lines 1, 2 and 5 rhyme, and 3 and 4 rhyme, and it has a particular beat. So I tried to find today poems that were sort of to finish off our Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, things to do with chocolate or cake or eating. And in fact, I started off quite well. This one is about cake. So, there once was a person named Blake, and he loved to eat chocolate cake. Don't ask him to share, because he doesn't care. He'll eat until all his teeth break. So it has that lovely pattern of rhyming, a limerick. I find limericks really hard to write. Now the next one is a performance poem. Now Michael Rosen is a poet who does a lot of performance poetry, and he's written a poem about cake. I would like you to watch the video, and then at the end of it, we'll stop the video and answer some questions.
When I was a boy, I had a favourite treat. It was when my mum made chocolate cake. Oh, I loved chocolate cake. My mum, she says to me, listen, Michael, if there's any chocolate cake left over at the end of the day, you can take some to school tomorrow to have at playtime or at lunchtime. So I used to go to school with a piece of chocolate cake in my little box, and I'd be walking to school. Yeah, it's in there, yeah. And I'd get to school, and it would be playtime or lunchtime, and I'd open up the box, take it out. What's it? You've got a chocolate cake. Open up the paper. You're gonna get it. Yeah, very good. Well, look at it. I loved my mum's chocolate cake. Yes. And one time there was some chocolate cake left over at the end of the day, and I went to bed, and I was fast asleep. And then, in the middle of the night, I woke up and I thought, chocolate cake. Maybe I could go downstairs and have a little look at it. No one would know. So I got up out of the bed. Shh, I mustn't wake my brother up. Along the passage, careful not to tread on the creaky floorboard outside Mum and Dad's bedroom, because if they wake up and find me, I'll be in big trouble, so really quiet. Are they still asleep? Yes. Okay. Along the passage, down the stairs, into the kitchen, open the cupboard, and yeah, there it is. I'll take it out. Just have a little look at it. And then I noticed some little crumbs on the plate. So I think if I lick the end of my finger, I could pick up some of those crumbs, and no one would know anything about it. Oh, yeah, little sticky. And then I noticed on the side of the cake, there's some little crumbly bits just falling off. So I think if I take a knife, I could just tidy it up a little bit. No one would notice. Scrunch it all together, and there's the crumbly bits and the sticky bits, and it's all going to go in there. Yeah, very, very And then I noticed that as I've tidied it up a little bit over here, then maybe I could just even it up a bit over here. So I take the knife again, and this time through the crispy icing on the top, through the squashy icing in the middle, and I've got a whole slice this time. Yeah, and it's all going to go in there. It's a very, very, very... And now I've got the taste of it in my mouth, and I can't stop myself, so I go, and I got all these slices, and I can't stop myself. Oh no, it's all gone. Oh no, they're bound to notice now. A whole chocolate cake doesn't just disappear. What am I going to do? I know. I'll wash up the plate and the knife, and they won't know anything about it. Good thinking. Take the plate and the knife and wash it up. Shh, really quiet. Wash up the plate. Shh, and the knife. Shh, shh. And don't forget to dry out. Get the cloth. And don't forget the knife. And don't forget to put them away. Plate in the cupboard. And the knife in the drawer. And back up to bed. Up the stairs. Along the passage. Now I know where the creaky floorboard is now, so all I've got to do is tread over it, because if I tread on it and it makes a noise, I am dead. Careful now. Are they still asleep? Yes, it's okay. Into the bedroom, into bed, under the covers. Nice, warm feeling, chocolate cake in my belly, goody, goody, goody. And I go to sleep. In the morning, I get up and I go downstairs and I'm having my breakfast. And Mum is busy over there and she's busy over there. And then she says, oh, Michael, don't forget your book folder. She hands me my book folder. And I'm busy having my breakfast. She's busy over there. She's busy over there. And then she says, oh, Michael, there's something else. There's something nice. There's some chocolate cake left over from yesterday for you to take to school today. And I went, all right. And she says, what's the matter? You usually jump at the idea of having chocolate cake. I went, no, it's all right. It's okay. And she's looking at me very closely, just here. And she says, what's that? And I said, what's what? She said, it's not chocolate cake, is it? And I said, no. And she went over to the cupboard. It's gone. The chocolate cake's gone. You haven't eaten the whole of the rest of the chocolate cake, have you? And I said, I don't know. You don't know, she said, you don't know. I don't believe a word of it. Now, off you go to school. No, before you go to school, go upstairs to the bathroom and wash your dirty, sticky face. I went upstairs to the bathroom and I looked in the mirror and I saw it just there. Chocolate smudge. Chocolate blob. And I looked at it and I thought, maybe next time we have chocolate cake, she'll forget about it. Do you think she will?
So what did you think of that performance poetry? Did you enjoy it? What did you like about it? What did you dislike about it? You might want to stop it here and have a little chat, or just write down some of your thoughts. Okay, welcome back. So performance poetry, poetry written to be performed. There's another performance poetry, and it's from our book, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Now, I haven't copied out all of the performance poetry because Roald Dahl writes a poem for each character when something happens. And in the film, these are performed as songs. In the book, they're intended to be performed as songs as well. So this one is Augustus Gloop, and you will recognise this one from your PE dance. So it's Augustus Gloop, the great big greedy nincompoop. Augustus Gloop, so big and vile, so greedy, foul and infantile. Come on, we cried, the time is ripe to send him shooting up the pipe. But don't, dear children, be alarmed. Augustus Gloop will not be harmed. Augustus Gloop will not be harmed. Although, of course, we must admit he will be altered quite a bit. Slowly wheels go round and round, and the cogs begin to grind and pound. We'll boil him for a minute more until we're absolutely sure. Then out he comes, by God, by grace, a miracle has taken place. A miracle has taken place. So just a little extract from it. So it's written to stir emotions. We know that. We know that it's a type of poem. It's got some rhyming. Yeah, it has, hasn't it? It's got some rhyming in it. The words are chosen very carefully, aren't they? That was one of the things. So we've got round and round, grind and pound. Got a sort of rhythm to it. Shall we have a look at the next type of poem? The next one is an acrostic. I'm going to read it to you, and then I wonder if you can remember what an acrostic is. This one, I'm afraid I could not find one based on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, chocolate and sweets. So I just thought that this was quite a funny one. Amy's dad is 20 feet tall. Lee's pen is solid gold. Laura's mum is the Queen of Egypt. Lance lives in a tent in the park. Isabel's brother has got 3 eyes. Elizabeth eats worms for breakfast. Simon has a homework machine. Now, can you remember what an acrostic is? An acrostic is where the first letter of each line then spells out. So we've got A, L, 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 I, E, S. They are all lies. And I thought that was quite clever. So sometimes you might write an acrostic poem. You might have done one at school for Christmas. And you write the word Christmas down the side, and then each line starts with that different letter. Acrostic poem. Okay, let's look at the next one. So we've got a rhyming poem, and this one I've taken from Brian Patton's book called Gargling with Jelly. Now this one is where we've got, it's organised in quite a traditional way. We've got the stanzas, 4 lines per stanza. We've got line 2 and 4 rhyming. It's called Enough Please. I asked for the moon, got a slice of cheese. Someone took it from me 'cause I didn't say please. Asked for firewood in case I should freeze. Someone took it from me 'cause I didn't say please. Please is a word that gets some people in a huff. We shouldn't have to use it if we only want enough. So I chose that one because I thought it had a really nice rhyming pattern. It also has quite an interesting meaning to it. I wonder what you thought of that poem. Let's have a look at the next one. This one, I did manage to find one about chocolate. It's written in the same way as the previous one, where we've got the traditional poetry. I say that because when people say, oh, poem, they tend to think of this sort of poetry. And we've got the rhyming on lines 2 and 4. So it's called Death by Chocolate. Sandy was a chocoholic, the worst I've ever seen. If she didn't eat it some daily, she'd become crazy mean. It didn't matter what kind it was, ice cream, cake, pie or candy. As long as it was chocolate, Sandy was fine and dandy. Then one day, the unthinkable happened to the chocolate-loving miss. While eating her favourite candy, she choked on a chocolate kiss. Death by chocolate, the coroner concluded, as to the cause of Sandy's death. At least she died doing what she loved, eating chocolate till her last breath. So a bit of a funny one, just explaining 2 things in there. It's an American poem, and a chocolate kiss is a type of wrapped chocolate. They're called Hershey's chocolate kisses, and they're individually wrapped. And a coroner is somebody whose job it is to find out how somebody died or why somebody died. So death by chocolate. Let's have a look at the next bit. So your task for the day. You are going to choose your favourite poem from today. We've got the limerick, we've got the performance poetry. I didn't include Michael Rosen's chocolate cake because it was so long. I felt it was a bit much. So I'd like you to practice reading it out loud. So choose one poem, practice reading it out loud, or try and learn it off by heart. Perform it to your family. And below this video, I put a PDF of the poems, so you can either print them or you can zoom in on them to help you learn them. So today, exploring poetry, have a go at performing some.